Las Vegas limo driver Dan Holmgren had a chance meeting with Raiders owner Marc Davis, but it may have cost him his job with the limo service. We bring in Dan to talk about his story. Thank you so much for joining us in the studio today. So just go ahead, for people who don't really understand what happened, go ahead and take us from the beginning, and how did you run into Marc Davis?
I was staging at Caesar's Palace for the company that I was employed with, and about 10:45 on the 28th of January, I see in the distance over by the entrance to the Roman Plaza, I thought was Marc Davis and Marc Badain, the owner and president of the Raiders. So I tell the starter, hey, I think that's the Raider owner and the president. I'm gonna go say hi. He doesn't say anything. I go over there, talk to both of them. They were very nice gentlemen. Told them all about being a Raider fan since I was a little kid, about buying PSLs with 3 of my buddies at the new stadium, about when me and my friend went in 2011 to see the Raiders play the Houston Texans in Houston. Mm-hmm. It was the day after his father passed, Al Davis, and he was really cordial about the conversation, and we had a nice talk. And then as I was talking, Mr. Badain handed me the lapel pin right here from the Oakland Raiders, and then I walk back to the vehicle. My cell phone rings, and the company says bring the car in, and I was terminated.
All right, and did they tell you why you were terminated?
I found out when I got my final check it was because they said I interacted with a customer, but as I explained to the lady who's the accountant / payroll manager over there, I said, her name's Olga, I said I didn't talk to our customer or a Caesar's customer or solicit a ride. It was just somebody who was waiting for a vehicle to pull up, Mr. Davis and Mr. Badain. And so she didn't even get the story right. So, you know, this is a right to work state, so you can get fired for anything. So I just accepted it and moved on. Mm-hmm.
So then the Review Journal and Ron Kantowski told your story last week on Thursday.
Yes.
And then it got huge reaction.
Yes.
So much so that Marc Badain actually gave you a call.
Yeah, he called me Friday morning after it came out in the print edition. Ron did a wonderful story, by the way. Mm-hmm. He got pretty much the gist of everything that happened. Mm-hmm. I've been a fan of Ron for a long time anyhow, reading him in the Review Journal. Mm-hmm. But yeah, then Mr. Badain called, and this funny number came up. He says, is this Dan Holmgren? I said, yes, sir. He says, this is Mr. Badain. I just wanted to tell you, me and Mr. Davis are really upset about what happened. And I said, well, I'm not too upset. And he says, why not? Do you have another job? And I said, no, my mom used to say when one door closes, another opens up. So I was keeping a positive attitude. Then he said right there, said, well, maybe we have a door that'll open up for you. And he referred me to a gentleman named Dave that's going to coordinate their transportation and things like that when the Raiders move here in a year. And he said, can I have him give you a call? Which he did. So he said, give us a little time and we'll hire you on as soon as we get to town. Mm-hmm. So that's awesome. I got to wait a year or so. But then he said he also had a friend, Lou Castro, who runs Earth Limos. If I wanted to go over there in the interim and work for Lou, I could too. So I just dropped off a resume at Lou's place on Sunday night. So I'm going to talk to him as soon as all the stuff dies down here. Mm-hmm.
So how did it feel? What was the reaction that you were getting from the community and, of course, from these Raiders officials after the story came out?
Oh, it couldn't have been more positive. You know, you feel a little down when you get fired from a job, but then all these people reach out to you. Just Friday and Saturday alone, between like people offering me jobs in the Oakland Raiders and friends that I haven't talked to in a long time and people that I work with and people here, it's just, it was just incredible. You know, they say you have 15 minutes of fame. It's been like 5 days now. I'm going to go on a radio show tonight. And a funny thing was the Vegas Lights, the soccer team, said, we'll pick you up in a limo. And he says, if you want to, you know, give the company that fired you a bad time, we'll pick you up in that company's limo and you'll be a guest of the owner of the Vegas Lights for a game. They said pick a game. So me and a friend are going to go in March and see the Vegas Lights.
Wonderful. How generous. So
yes.
What are the next steps for you? What are you looking forward to now?
Just going to get back to work. You know, weigh my options, and then hopefully the Raiders will get here sooner than later. I hear the stadium's ahead of schedule, so within a year flies, right?
Yeah,
flies by. So,
absolutely.
So yeah, it's just been so positive. Everybody says Vegas is a big town, but it's such a small community that everybody knows somebody, and so many people have reached out. Like I said, Friday and Saturday alone, I got calls from like about 30 plus different people. And I have a lot of good customers that I've built up and friends over the years, because I've been in the limo business since 2006. So all those nice customers called and hey, if you want a job over here, come on over. Mr. Arcana, who runs the Stratosphere, he's one of my great customers. He says, come on over. And Friendly Ford and Team Ford, the family that owns that, they're great people. Hey, you want to come to work for us? Come on over. So it's just an outpouring, and it's been wonderful.
I'm so glad that you've had such a positive reaction from something that wasn't so great initially.
Yeah, it's been so great. So great.
All right.
My head's spinning.
Head's spinning. Well, thank you so much, Dan,
you.
for joining us in our studios. You can read the story about Dan, written by Ron Kantowski, on reviewjournal.com.